it takes a lot of my time, my cardio and weights. It takes a lot of that to just be able to fly this wingsuit. But the training at the drop zone, it's whenever we get a good weather day, which is very rare in the UK. So we can be waiting a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks before we even jump. So there's a lot of work that goes in on the ground for training, especially performance flying. It's predominantly focused around data. So it's studying other people's data, looking at my own GPS files. So there's a lot of work on the ground to be done before we even get up into the plane. But then when we're at the drop zone, then it's jump after jump after jump. What am I doing now? Am I doing speed run? Am I doing a time? Am I doing distance? It's the best of both worlds. So it's gym work, drop zone, data. There's so much that goes into it.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Adeptus On-Air. I'm again your host, Mike Hoffman, and today I'm joined by wingsuit pilot Casey Flay. Casey, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. And are you good?
I'm good. I'm good.
Are you well?
Very, very excited to talk to you because this is obviously something totally out of my realm. So definitely want to hear about that. So first of all, what is a wingsuit pilot?
So wingsuiting is a part of skydiving, although we do it in a base environment, off mountains, etc. It is a very niche part of skydiving. There's not many people that actually wingsuit here in the UK and around the world. We have this material. It's like almost like a dress, if you will. How we do it so I fly in performance, so that's another part of wingsuit. So there's two parts of wingsuiting. There's acrobatics, and there's performance. So I compete for the UK for Team GB in performance. So what we have in performance, you have things brace suit, and they are built specifically for performance events. So that's speed, distance, and time. So that's 3 categories in the performance event. There are 4 major wingsuit manufacturers in the world, and who are in the United States. So I fly a suit called a CR Plus, which is made by Squirrel, which are American. Squirrel make many type suit, but the suit that I fly from them is a race suit. It's specifically for performance events.
So how
does
someone even how does someone even get into this? I mean, obviously, being that it's so specific. I mean, were you just someone who loved to skydive and it kind of just parachuted into this?
Well, before I'd done all this, I used to climb mountains, and I remember I was climbing in the Alps many years ago, and I seen 2 wingsuiters come flying past right over the top of me. So that was the start of my interest into wingsuiting, and then I started looking into it. How can I do that? That was so epic. I needed to be a part of it. So that's how I got into it, by visualizing them from the mountain.
Seeing someone actually do it. So clearly, you've been a very adventurous person because you're doing this now, and you got interested in it when you were climbing mountains. So what was childhood like? What made you such an adventurous person? Early on.
Oh, ever since I was a kid, I was always the person to, I bet you can't do that. I bet you can't do that. And just going crazy, rope swings, climbing on top of roofs when I was a kid, just doing some crazy things. I don't know where I got it from, because the rest of my family are not like me. They are completely different. I am not sure where I got all this from. I don't know. I think looking at people in the base environment, I think we're all very similar people.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just have this need to be adventurous,
The need
and
to be.
I mean, we're not adrenaline junkies. That is a word I hate. Like, I hate adrenaline, and it happens to me sometimes. I do get flooded with adrenaline sometimes, and it's an
Right.
awful feeling, and it definitely
Yeah,
doesn't
because
help me perform.
because you would think that I think a lot of people who do these things just get the rush from the excitement or the fear or whatever it may be. What was the first time you jumped out of a plane? How old were you?
I was. Oh, it wasn't that long ago. It was just after COVID, so I think I was.
Oh, okay. So this is really all new for you.
Like, yeah, really new, and my interest, my obsession with it. I am absolutely obsessed. So that just catapulted me really fast. The progression came, and I just flew through the progression in wingsuiting, and here I am representing Team GB.
Because I was going to say because now you represent you're on Team GB and you're competing internationally in these competitions, but really 5 years ago you hadn't even jumped out of a plane.
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah, it's all very new. There's been a lot packed into the years, so I have been doing it, like a hell of a lot. It's like my whole life has been on hold, and this is it, and that's what it's been like for the past 4 years now. 4 years.
Yeah. So when you say your life's on hold, I mean, is this something that can be a career for you, or is this really just now a hobby and a passion, and you're kind of putting off the quote unquote real world?
So a lot of the performance, a lot of the wingsuit, the top end of wingsuiting, the podium guys, they get sponsored and things like that. But the rest of us at the bottom, still working our way up, then yeah, we have full-time jobs to pay for it.
So is it expensive to compete, or you're like you're competing on Team GB, so is someone funding you?
Well, we get part funded by British Skydiving every other year.
Mhm.
This year at the World Championships, we didn't get funding, so entry fees, and flights and training costs, yeah, we all pay for that. It's a big cost, very big cost, and it is expensive. So having a good job to pay for it is the most important thing.
Yeah. Plus, I would have to think your training is probably expensive too because you need to get obviously you can't just like run on the ground and work out like another athlete to train. You need a plane, you need a pilot, you need all these other people to assist you to do this.
Most of the costs are eaten up in your first few years of skydiving. So, like me now, my only real costs are maintenance of my kit, um, new suits every year, and jump tickets, which are £27 British pounds per jump. It does add up as you go, as you put the jumps in, but it's not too bad. It's manageable. Um,
Yeah.
but like competing at a world event, that's where it costs. It
Yeah.
costs quite a lot of money for the entrance fee, etc.
Yeah. So talk about your training regimen for this. Like, what do you do to stay sharp and improve? Because obviously you've been doing this for such a short period of time. Obviously you've improved dramatically, but I'm sure there's still ways to go. So what is a regimen? Like I could say, okay, I know for certain sports, you know what the training regimen is. For baseball, it's repetition in the batting cage. It's for a pitcher, it's throwing. The basketball player, it's jump shots. What do you do to train to improve yourself?
So I get up every morning at 3 a.m. and I go for a run, and then every other day I'm in the gym training. I wouldn't be able to fly the race suit that I fly without putting the work in at the gym. Although I would be able to fly it, but
Okay.
not at the level I do fly it. So it takes a lot
Mhm.
of my time, my cardio and weights. It takes a lot of that to just be able to fly this wingsuit. But the training at the drop zone, it's whenever we get a good weather day, which is very rare in the UK. So we can be waiting a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks before we even jump. So there's a lot of work that goes in on the ground for training, especially performance flying. It's predominantly focused around data. So it's studying other people's data, looking at my own GPS files. So there's a lot of work on the ground to be done before we even get up into the plane. But then when we're at the drop zone, then it's jump after jump after jump. What am I doing now? Am I doing a speed run? Am I doing a time? Am I doing distance? Each run is different GPS files I need to load up. It's
right.
It's the best of both worlds. So it's gym work, drop zone, data. There's so much that goes into it.
How long are you in the air? Meaning, I don't mean in the plane itself, like a typical jump, like from getting out of the plane to hitting ground. I don't say hitting ground to landing. Hitting ground's an awful thing to say. To landing, how long are you airborne?
It depends what I'm doing. If I'm doing a speed run, then maybe 40 seconds by the time I get out and I pull my parachute, about 40 seconds. If I'm doing a time run, then I'm pretty good at time. I have a new British record in time. So the way I train to performance. I don't just wingsuit skydive. So all my jumps are training jumps. So the time spent in the air is different between the three categories. If I'm doing a time run, then it's around 3 minutes in the air, compared to a normal skydive, which is about 60 seconds. So the time I spend in the competition window is about a minute and a half, but the whole jump really is about 3 minutes.
And during your training, how many times will you jump in a given day?
Yeah, if I'm doing performance, I limit myself to 3 jumps a day. And after that, I'm not really effective and I'm not really learning anything. It's just a waste of time. So I limit if I'm doing performance, wingsuit performance, if I'm training, I'm limited to 3 jumps. And then I'll go and do some fun jumps with friends, acro or something fun to break it up. But no more than 3.
So I think for most people, when they think about jumping out of a plane, there's the element of fear. There's obviously, no matter how good you are, there's obviously an element of risk. So kind of talk about that. I mean, how do you balance being competitive and working through it, but at the same point in time, do you ever still? You obviously know there's risk there, but do you ever still feel fear?
So when I first started skydiving, I was probably the worst. I was so scared. Like the whole time, the whole course, I was petrified. And then as you go on, you start to trust yourself. You start to trust your skills and your equipment. It shouldn't get any less scary in a sense. But that fear changes. It evolves into something else. So I know if I go to the drop zone now and I'm fine. If I start putting my suit on, then my heart starts going because I know what I'm about to do, and I know that. Well, I put pressure on myself, so I know whatever I'm going to do on that jump. I know that I'm going to put pressure on myself, and that starts bringing not kind of anxiety, but a little bit of fear and a lot of concentration as well. So I don't really feel the fear as such, but it's more focus, if you will. I'm more focused on the jump, and
What is the
nothing
most
else kind of comes in.
Yeah. What's the most precarious position or the experience that you've had? Like, have you had any, where as you're in the air, you feel something's not right with your equipment, or talk about one of those situations where it just didn't go as smoothly as it normally does.
So it was a base jumping accident I had about 6 months ago. I was I was going up to Scotland to do a base tour, so I was looking for objects to jump off of. I arrived at the first object in the morning as soon as I got up to Scotland, and it was a 43-meter building that I planned to jump off. I remember getting out of my car, checking the winds, checking the area. Everything was perfect, so I knew I was good to go. So I got my kit. I walked into the building, got the elevator up, and got out onto the balcony because the building is it's got balcony all the way around the top of it. And I remember putting my kit on, going to the end of the building, back to the other end of the building, checking the winds, and everything was fine. Everything was perfect. And I looked over and I saw like a school bus picking some kids up for school. So I thought, I'm not going to jump now. I'll wait for that to go. It was quite foggy, so I could just about see it. And by this time, I had my kit on. I tied my bridle to the railing because I was doing a static line jump. Everything was fine. Everything was perfect. I got out onto the ledge. I exited. Parachute came out. I pulled my toggles down. And then I knew then I was in trouble because I could feel the wind going in the other direction to what I just experienced. I turned the canopy, and then I had a downwinder, what we call a downwinder, where we flying with the wind behind us. And I came in about 40 miles an hour, and I tried to run it out, but then I pushed like that. I extended my arms, and unfortunately that hit the concrete, and it was broken. My bone came out. I had deep cuts. You could see the bone. It was a really bad break. It was a really bad accident based on bad information and just bad choices. Lack of information, shall I say?
Sure. Now, in those
That
situations, two things here. One is it's hard to train for those situations because you can't simulate it. So your training is really when you're in that situation. So you really got to be mentally prepared because it's not like you can say, okay, I'm in this situation. I've had this happen to me 20 times before because I practiced for this. So that's impressive that you kind of get through that. My second point would be, so you have this bad break. What's it like for you the next time you're going to go jump? Is there extra, fear, trepidation, right after the injury?
Yeah, so I knew that jump I'd done everything right, apart from one little detail I got wrong. So I after the accident, I stopped trusting myself, and that is a big deal. I stopped believing in my knowledge, the knowledge I could get. So I stopped believing in that. So the one thing how I got around it is, I'll take you back. So when I done my base jumping course, after that, I always had a fascination with buildings. For some reason, I don't know. I just had a fascination with jumping off buildings. But that jumping off buildings I had a lack of knowledge. After the base course I done, we didn't do any buildings, but I had a fascination with it. But at the same time, I have very big knowledge gap. That's how the accident came around. But the next time I jumped was an object. It was a pylon, electricity pylon. One I've done many times. One I was quite familiar with. But I didn't change anything that I would normally do. But after the accident, I looked into why it happened. I got more knowledge about winds and weather conditions, and I knew that I could do my next jump because I solved the problem for that accident. If you
Right.
get what I mean.
Yeah, of course.
I had to go back and solve that problem and to allow me to move forward.
Yeah, and how long after that accident were you back jumping?
So it took 3 months for the I had a plate installed the next day after the accident, and it was about 3 months after I'd done my first base jump from the pylon, and then after that I went back and done some wingsuit in the mountains. But before I got over the accident pretty quick, I think I got over it pretty quick because I'd done
Yeah.
a lot of training. I couldn't sit it out any longer. I needed to get back, and with the brake being the hand that I deploy my parachute with, it made it even worse. So
Yeah.
I got on it and I started lifting things, started training it, and I got it back really quick. I just couldn't sit around and watch everyone else have the fun.
So what's the end game here? So obviously you have this passion, you're competing. Is it just to win internationally? Is it to secure sponsorship so this can become more of a career than a hobby? I mean, if this went totally how you would love it to go, what's the plan a year from now, 2 years from now, etc.?
So I give myself 5 years to get to the podium. That's my dream. Um, so I've got the British Nationals coming up in a couple of weeks, which will determine who goes out to the World Championships. Feeling pretty confident with that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I love my job. I'm an engineer by trade, and I absolutely love that. I could never give that up to do this. So I'm creating a world where I can do both. Um, Getting to the podium in 5 years is a big stretch. Um,
Mm-hmm.
to get sponsors, I think that's quite important now moving forward. So I can get that support. I need that external support so I can get there. Um, but I also need my job for my own sanity. I need to keep both worlds. Um,
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to do much wingsuit base going forward. I've just done this world championship, and I never planned on doing another one. If I'm being honest, I always planned to finish this and go to wingsuit base and focus on that. But I absolutely loved it. It was the best thing I've ever done. The atmosphere, the people. I couldn't I couldn't not do it again. I couldn't give it up and go to wingsuit base. So my whole outlook now has changed. It's completely changed. So I'm just so focused on this. I'm focused on the nationals coming up, and yeah, I give myself 5 years to get to the podium, and I think I can do it.
So you mentioned before that you are a world record holder in one aspect, right?
Uh, British record. It's a British
British,
record.
sorry, British record. So what is that feeling? Because world, Britain, whatever it is, that's an amazing accomplishment. So what's it like to know that
Yeah.
no one's ever done what you did in that country?
Oh, it's it's an amazing feeling. It really is. It's it made it all worth it. 100%. The amount of time and effort and money and tears and blood I put into this to walk away with that. It's like it confirmed everything. It kind of confirmed um, to myself that I can do it, that I have the skill to do it, and it just made it all worth it. It really did. I didn't need the podium. I didn't need the medals. I
Yeah,
just needed that. That was
yeah, of
enough
course.
to spur me on
Yeah.
and keep me going. 100%.
So I know you don't like the phrase adrenaline junkie or anything like that, but I'm going to call you an adventurer for lack of a better word.
Okay.
What are some what are some things that I would call adventurous that are definitely something you want to try at some point?
Oh, so there's this wingsuit base jump that I will do one day. It's always been on my mind. It's one of the reasons why I started in the first place, and that was it was when I was climbing the Eiger. This is where I saw the wingsuiters, and I saw them jumping off what they call the mushroom. It's about halfway up the Eiger, and that is where a lot of wingsuits happen from that rock. It's like an outcrop of the actual mountain.
Mm-hmm.
That is something that I've dreamt about so long. So one day that I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do that.
Listen, Casey, I appreciate you taking the time to join us. It's real exciting stuff. I wish you nothing but continued success. Good luck in the upcoming competition.
Thank you.
And I admire what you do, and nothing but continued success going forward. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to Adeptus On-Air. If you like this episode, please subscribe and leave a review. The views and opinions by the podcast speakers and guests are solely their own and do not reflect the opinions of Adeptus. This podcast provides general information only and is not intended to constitute advice.